Hello, uh, uh internet, podcast.
Do over? No.
Dude.
Don't worry, I'll just Photoshop the whole intro. Nobody will know. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just airbrush it. Just
Yep.
airbrush it.
Mm-hmm.
Make my boobs look bigger.
I could do that.
Oh. So, Josh Allen, aka Lore, Mike B, aka Fony. Don't get your hopes up. Apparently, we're doing this now. Okay. It's been a few weeks again, I think.
Yeah, it hasn't really felt like it. I think last week I felt like we missed it for sure. We definitely missed it.
We definitely missed it last week. Like I was I out of town last week?
I remember you saying the last time we did a show, you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna be out of town." I was like, "Okay, cool," but I can't remember like if 1 week or 2 week passed. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it all just kind of blurs together.
It pretty much does, especially around the holidays, because like 2 weeks ago was basically Thanksgiving. So
yeah,
I think we missed
so
after that.
I would have been around last week, and I think we just forgot about it.
Probably it happens.
That's what you get for getting your hopes up.
Video games happen sometimes.
Video games, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, especially now that you're like streaming like basically full time. Like, yeah.
Yep. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to talk to Laura. I'm building a hover bike, and then it's gonna explode. I'm like,
I thought you were gonna say something useful like I'm building an audience or I'm building my brand or something. But you're like, no, I'm building a sandwich.
I mean, me first. Right? Is that how it goes? Me first, and then everybody else.
Okay.
The hover bike thing doesn't work, though, just because you're wondering.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I wasn't, but okay. Cool.
Good.
It does work in Destiny.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm just saying. So...
That was the greatest transition without even trying. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Destiny came out with Sparrow the Dragon Ultimate Racing League, but I think they changed it. I think they called it something else.
Mm-hmm.
Sparrow League Racing, and I think it's really fun. I'm having fun with it. You apparently hate fun.
It's fucking great, dude. Like I don't even know how many hours I've logged on it, but it's like loads of fun. I didn't expect it to be this good, honestly. I came in expecting Jet Moto, and I got something better than Jet Moto. It was amazing.
This is completely opposite from the response I was expecting. I don't even know how to think anymore.
So, I think I hyped myself up too much for it, but I do have what I feel is a pretty good, I recognize certain things that are pretty valid in terms of like reasons why I'm not excited about it. It is fun, but it's really, really basic and very, very dry of content. Those are like my two biggest things.
It is basically, you have some races, there's 2 tracks, and that's it. And you don't even unlock one of them, it's just you get 2 tracks, here you go. And there's new Sparrows you can get, but you don't really need them to win the races. I don't have any of them, and I'm still winning races. And... yeah, like there isn't a ton to it in terms of depth, really. But I still find it kind of fun. Like I like doing something and coming out, and then it's stupid, but I like the end of game screen that you get, and then you're like waiting, like, oh, am I gonna get something? And then it pops up, and you got like a duck horn, and you're like, oh, the duck horn.
The horns are great.
Yeah,
nothing's better than the fucking duck. And like you just hear like what sounds like it's just a bunch of duck calls.
Yeah, like the first. I guess it probably would have been the second race that I did. Like at the end, you finish the race, and then everybody just kind of stops moving. It's not like Mario Kart where like an AI takes over and drives you around for a while. No, it's just like, okay, everybody just stop. Like you can keep racing if you really want, but otherwise people usually just stop. And like I'm sitting there. And, like, people start honking. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll start honking, too. And it's like, bah, bah, bah. And, like, someone's with, like, a brr, 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 or whatever. And then some guy walks up and just starts going, meh, meh, meh. And I'm like, am I imagining this? Am I having a stroke right now? What's going on? So that's pretty fun. You can get
the best thing to do at the end, in my opinion, is so if you turn around and you go back and you hit the finish line, you die.
Oh.
So you push people around until they or if you have a time breaker or something that has overdrive, you charge it up as best you could, which is obviously very difficult to aim once it actually starts going crazy. But like aim it at a wall, start charging it up, and then turn around, aim it at somebody, and blow them up.
Good.
But yeah, that's probably the most fun I've had, I think, in the game. No, I'm overhating it.
I think that for me, the interesting thing about Sparrow League racing is the same thing that I found interesting about fucking Zur randomly selling Gallarhorn last year sometime, where it's gotten me to log into Destiny and actually launch the game and get on my character for a second and then go, man, I actually really like this game. I want to play this game some more. So now I'm like talking to Donis and being like, hey, we should do some challenge modes sometime. They seem pretty cool. Like, let's do some more hard mode Oryx runs. That's fun. I really like that raid. We should do that raid.
Oh man,
it's this game, man. It just keeps hooking me.
It is and it is. It didn't grab me like that. But I think it's just because once. I'm over it right now again, and then the next time they do anything, I'll get back into it again.
Yeah, I didn't burn myself on it as much as you did. Like I'm still only like 308 light, and like half the reason that I want to do stuff is because I'm like, man, eventually, because they just had this big blog post earlier today where they were talking about how they're working on all this cool stuff for like winter and spring 2016. So basically Q1 2016. Mm-hmm. They're working on content to come out with, and I would be shocked if any of that isn't a raid, and I want to be ready for that raid when it comes, and I'm like applying my World of Warcraft logic to it and going, well, I'm basically normal mode geared right now, but I really want to be ready for Mythic, so I need to farm Mythic for a while still, so I can do Mythic right away when it comes out. And also because I know you assholes, and basically what will happen is it'll come out and you guys will be really excited about it, and you will farm the shit out of it for all of about 3 hours.
And then
I'll get home from work, and you'll be like, oh no, we already finished it. Man.
You need to start planning ahead, man.
I need to start planning ahead 3 years ago, right? When I took the position at Blizzard. That is actually a good point. I should really, like, realistically, I probably should just start taking days off. I actually had to. I'm taking Monday off, not because I particularly thought to myself I should take Monday off, but because I looked at my time off for the year, and I've banked up too much of it, so I have to start taking it.
See, that's even worse. Lose it. Yeah. And nobody at Blizzard, nobody's gonna be like, oh, he's took that day off to play video games. You know? It's like, yeah. Like you're in the best possible situation.
Yes, I did.
Take a day off, stream, play fucking Destiny, whatever it is,
Yeah.
Like, just do it.
Yeah. It's been, like, especially around, like, hard mode Oryx, it was really tough because half the reason I wasn't around for it wasn't so much because I was like, I'm just going to be in the Czech Republic this week. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah. It was a busy time.
Yep. Yeah. Just to kind of lay it out, like, why I'm not really a big fan of it, because I think I kind of pissed off Shizzle, because I know Shizzle likes it, and I was like, by the end of the night, I was like basically just pooing all over. I was kind of just like giving up and just like whatever, like I'm kind of over it, and I was like, I'm gonna leave. And he's all like, all right, well, does anybody else want to get off the fun bus? Like, I feel bad, right? It's like we finally get a game we can get in there and like beat dicks and everything, and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna leave. So I definitely hyped it up a lot. I looked at it as Jet Moto. I called it Jet Moto. When I started streaming, I put myself into the Jet Moto category. And then when I got in, I was just like, fuck, like it's nothing at all what I expected. I didn't expect it to be Jet Moto, right? But I expected half pipes, We've already several times shown that, most time by accident, that you can get at least up a half 3/4 pipe, no problem. And with enough speed, you can complete a full circle. There was nothing supporting that. It was like, I felt like it was just the transition areas like the same concept of like the transition area between different areas on a map, but with gates. And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, like I felt like they really could have had something that was, a little bit more structured. They have do tricks and you get your entries in the book or achievements or whatever the hell it was, right? Like you get stuff for doing tricks, quests, whatever. Well, the tricks are kind of basic, and I just felt like if they had things just like a half pipe, right, where I could run up it, do something, do a spin, land it, like that would have been sick. They could have added more meta to it, and I just felt like the maps were super basic. Some of the physics, when I say physics, it's more like interaction with the environments. Just felt really wonky to me. Like there were times where I flat ran into a pole. It's like, fuck, okay, I'm an idiot, right? Or a column, which I thought was great. Like a column right in the middle of a race, or right in the middle of of your line, like going into a jump. Like that was hilarious. Everybody's hitting that damn thing.
Yeah. That's what you got the boost for, man. You're supposed to duck out.
It was a dodge, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there were times when I felt like I would hit something just a little weird, but it looked normal. And when I come out of like a portal, suddenly I don't have enough momentum to make the jump. And it's like, well, what the hell happened? Like it felt like it was not, like what my expectation wasn't what the game was giving me. And I felt like it was weird even for Destiny. Like all of us have played plenty of Destiny and run around Sparrows. We kind of get the physics. And I felt like even for Destiny, it was weird. Obviously they're pushing it with portals and things that throw you across the map and all that stuff. But I don't think they really nailed it.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like, do you remember the very first like limited time event that happened in Destiny, which was like the original Queen's Wrath event, when that like the first time that came out?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I'm kind of looking at this as that, because what happened with Queen's Wrath was they went, okay, there's an idea here. This could be good, and then several months later, did you just take a picture?
I was closing my phone and I opened up the damn thing.
I'm like, I'm
sneaking a selfie while I'm doing
just random.
Don't get your hopes up.
Don't get your hopes up selfie. But yeah, like they had the Queen's Wrath thing, and then several months later they came out with House of Wolves, which really expanded on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I'm hoping is going on here, because I agree that like it's super shallow right now, and like the physics could use a little bit of tuning. I don't mind them terribly myself. In my mind, it's just like, oh, these are just hard to handle. That's Sparrows. We're racing them. We're going way faster than you ever normally go. So Sparrows must just be tough to handle at this speed or something like that. Because that's how my brain explains things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like only having 2 maps and not really having much variety in those maps themselves. Like, oh, there's some corners. Look out for the corners. Like that's about it.
Yeah. I expect more. Like when the next time they come around and they give us more, like I expect to see improvements on these maps. Like I when they say do 100 tricks and in X number of maps or whatever, the 2 maps I guess, I expect to be able to do tricks, not just have my guy come off my bike a little bit before I land. And when I bitch about physics, I'm talking about perspective of trials or and I even said space engineers, which you gave me a shit for, but but like for reals though, like the physics and space engineers, when they work correctly, they're pretty impressive. If you clip something, you rip off that entire chunk of armor.
I just thought it was really funny that you were like, oh, the physics aren't very good, when you were in the middle of like randomly floating around a planet or something. Like gravity didn't exist. I'm like, all right, come on.
It's all about how your character interacts with the environment and the physics there. But yep.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the next time around is probably going to be pretty good. I can't imagine that it won't be.
Yeah. The response to it seems to have overall been positive enough that I would expect them to revisit it, and when they do, to go a little bit harder with it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
going
revisiting things
okay.
and going a little bit harder with it, that's actually just a direct. There's no chain to this one.
Okay.
It's just one to the other. Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah,
a bunch of that got showed off at the PlayStation Experience, which is the same place that the Sparrow Racing was announced at. And I give overall, everything that I saw, everything that I heard about the Final Fantasy VII remake, I give a resounding meh.
Woo!
Okay,
yeah?
here's the thing. I played Final Fantasy VII. It was a good game.
Yeah.
Played it when I was like 16 or something. I don't know. It was ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
Long ass time ago. On the original PlayStation. Played it was the original PlayStation that FF7 was released on. Played the game. Thought it was pretty good. Thought their hands looked weird.
Okay, fair.
And that was my overall. I don't think I'm trying to remember if I actually finished it or if I just eventually got bored. But yeah, like that was my experience with Final Fantasy VII. And this was coming off of playing a ton of Final Fantasy VI, which was another game that I've never actually finished. But people are going to be so mad at me after this episode. People are going to be like, I can't believe you. I did finish Final Fantasy IX, which to me is a testament to Final Fantasy IX actually being the best Final Fantasy, because it was able to hold my attention long enough for me to finish it.
Okay.
But yeah, like Final Fantasy VII, I played it a long time ago. I liked it, thought it was good, and it just keeps getting re-released, like over and over and over again. It gets re-released, and people keep buying it every single time because they're like, "Oh, but I haven't played this. It's a brand new experience because I've never before played it on this toaster. I have to." It's a brand new bread-based control scheme.
Uh-huh.
This is gonna be amazing, and I'm like, but I've played that. I stopped playing it. I stopped playing it because I had gotten all of the enjoyment that I needed out of it, and I don't know, man. Basically, what I'm saying here with this is Final Fantasy is, in my opinion, pretty overrated. Final Fantasy VII in particular is pretty overrated. It is not the actual gaming messiah.
Dang. I agree to an extent. I think I've played. Oh God, I played 1, 2, and 3, and then like the weird spin-off of like 1 and 2 or whatever, where they updated the graphics, some shit, I can't remember. I played a little bit of 5.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Do you mean 1, 2, and 3, or do you mean like 1, 4, and 6?
I mean like literally in order.
No, but so in Japan,
what
we call
Yeah, no,
so Final Fantasy III released here on the SNES, but that was actually Final Fantasy VI in Japan.
PlayStation had a version that was like, I can't remember what they called it. It was like Final Fantasy something 1 and 2 Chronicles, or Final Fantasy 1 and 2.
Yeah,
something
that had,
else.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't feel like it was this. It was the same. I thought it was like updated graphics. Has been so long, whatever. But I played a handful of them. I think that they are definitely genre-defining games. The Final Fantasy series is. Because or maybe they just really know how to ride the trend.
Yeah,
they take that trend mainstream.
They definitely sort of like, if not invented, really established the JRPG.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. At least for me, anyway, somebody who doesn't go out of their way to look for them.
Yeah.
It's like, I know how to recognize them because of Final Fantasy, and Dragon Warrior, and all that stuff. I played 7. I never beat 7. I've played 7. I must have played the first half of 7 like 50 times.
Yeah.
Because it's come out on like every platform, and I own it on every stupid platform, and I keep on going, okay, this is the one where I'm gonna beat it, This
time I'll finish it, yeah.
This is the one where I'm gonna do it. No, it doesn't happen. I'm looking forward to the remake in like 2 years when they release it. The updated combat thing is interesting.
Yeah.
But I think of all of them, I think 7 is probably the coolest one in terms of lore overall. Like that storyline that they have there was cool.
I mean, it's a decent storyline. I've always found it a little bit over emo, really. Like, But then again, I liked Final Fantasy IX, which was even more emo. So whatever. But no, like the biggest thing that the thing that does actually interest me about this remake is the combat revamp, because that makes it not just the same game again.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, like the reason that I'm generally not interested in Final Fantasy VII remakes is because I've played it and I don't want to just play it again. So having new combat to it, having it not just update the graphics but update the gameplay, that I'm actually intrigued about.
Yeah.
And I know that's the sort of thing that diehard Final Fantasy VII fans who really just want to pay Square another $50 for the same fucking game are going to be really upset that they've dared to change anything about their masterpiece. And how dare you, Square? We just wanted to give you $50 for no goddamn reason. They'll be upset. But I just want something new. That's it. I just want something new.
Well, everything that's come out new has been just like okay. So why not take?
I guess that's fair. Yeah. If all of the new stuff you come out with is kind of shit, then maybe just re-release the one good thing you came out with.
Yeah. I'm interested. When I played, so many damn Final Fantasies. 15, I think, at E3 last year. I can't remember, but we did this this press room look at the game, and it was the whole open world thing. I think we talked about it on the show, actually. This whole open world concept and everything. We were kind of running around, and I thought it was fucking great. Like, I thought that concept with it didn't feel it felt like a Final Fantasy game, but it also didn't, because it was completely different. It was just completely wide open. You go out and do whatever you want. You get random attacks and random events that occur and everything. And so that was, I like that they're not. I miss the old setup, like the old style of Final Fantasy VII to like 1, but like I said, like they definitely know how to ride a trend or help make it more mainstream. Yeah. I'm interested in it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say that I'm interested in it.
Just to counter the resounding meh, I'll just say I'm kind of interested in it.
Yeah, like, so okay. The biggest thing that tends to push me away from Final Fantasy games, and I think this is probably why I have trouble actually finishing them, is because you eventually get to that point, at least with the earlier games, you eventually get to that point where you're just walking along somewhere, and because they have the random encounters instead of like things that you can avoid most of the time, like you'll just be like, oh crap, I've gone slightly the wrong direction in this maze that I have to work my way through. Excuse me.
All right. Yeah. And then I choke to death and die.
No, they'll have somewhere in the like last third of the game, there will be this maze that you have to work your way through that's full of random encounters, and every single one of them takes 10 fucking minutes to finish. So I'll be like, oh god damn it, I've gone the wrong way, and then I turn around and I get pulled into a random encounter, and I just go, I don't actually care if I finish this. And that's the end of it. Generally speaking, is I get bored of the standard Final Fantasy combat. So hopefully this new version of it will allow me to actually finish that game. So speaking of things to shit all over, apparently there's a sequel to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming. Yep. The extent of my knowledge on this is I've already explained the extent of my knowledge on this. I am only aware of it because someone in your chat room earlier today was like, so are you guys going to talk about the TMNT 2 trailer?
Yes.
And I was like, there's a TMNT 2?
Did you watch the first one?
I did not.
Okay.
I heard so many like normally
it was never going to live up to the hype no matter what, and it wasn't even that good of a movie. So it was going to fail one way or another. I will say I watched it like 4 months ago. It was fun. Like I watched it, and my expectations at that point were completely shot. And I just went into it just like, you know what? I just want to see a bunch of turtles. I want to see the personalities. The personalities are there. You know, like they're not as contrasted as they are in the original live action series from the 90s. Like Raph was like a huge asshole, in in that series. This one I think is a little bit more well-rounded, homogenized their personalities are, except for Mikey. Mikey's obviously still going to be him. But it was fun. Megan Fox was a huge drag on the whole film. They could have literally put anybody else in their spot, living or dead, or and it would have done
otherwise,
better. Or otherwise, yeah. But still, it was a fun action flick. It was like watching Transformers, just.
Yeah,
the Transformers was actually kind of good, but anyways, if you get an opportunity to watch it, it's like free on like Amazon Prime or some shit. But
it would not surprise me that it's on Amazon Prime,
or Hulu or something. Yeah, it's like free on Hulu or some shit. But yeah, it's a cool action flick to watch whenever you have nothing else to watch. But watching the second one actually looks better than the first. Which I know the bar isn't very fucking high, but like they introduced Rocksteady and Bebop, and they were about what you would expect from a live action ish rendition of those characters, and those are some really fucking cool characters.
Yeah,
just two bumbling idiots.
Yeah,
henchmen. And I feel like the character, what they gave us, the small snippets, like the voices and the kind of the attitudes and the characters themselves were about spot on, man. Like I'm gonna go into it and it's gonna be a fun action flick, I think, or at least I should say.
Well, that's cool. I'm still probably not gonna watch it. Well, it's just because like with. There's
much as I work, plenty of things to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Like as much time as I spend working, and then I'm still trying to like at least put in an appearance on my stream from time to time, and then like spending time with Liv and doing all this other stuff, like just generally attempting to have a social life. The amount of time that I get for, hey, I'm just gonna watch some movie that probably sucks, but I'm just gonna do it for the lulz. So there's like 400 other things I could do with that time.
This is being a dad. That's the difference. Because when I don't have Declan, I'm like, I'm not gonna watch some movie that's probably gonna be shitty. I'm gonna go upstairs and play video games.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be my deal, right? But when I have the kid, it's like, I can't really just play games, and it's at the end of the night, and he's just kind of like just playing Play-Doh and shit, and he's fine. It's like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm just gonna put on a movie and just watch it, and he'll watch some of it too, and he'll have a good time.
Kind of gets forced upon you.
Yeah. It's kind
You're
of
like forced into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I didn't really, because I do remember when I watched it. It was a night that my wife was out of town, and it was just Declan and I, and we were just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I was like, what's some Ninja Turtles? He was like, cool, all right, cool, let's do it. So we watched some Ninja Turtles, and that was it. That conversation didn't happen, but
well, I'm disappointed.
Super advanced 2-year-old at the time.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of things that you watch, I don't, whatever. I'm still recovering from this cough, okay? You can't expect all of my transitions to be great.
Okay.
But speaking of things that you watch in places when you can't not watch something because that's your only real option, on the plane to Michigan for Thanksgiving, I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes of Mr. Robot.
Oh, that's right. You haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't watched. Well, it's because it's not on like fucking anything. Like,
oh, they took it off Hulu for some reason. We had to actually buy it on Amazon Prime, which is shitty.
Yeah, like it's just weird. But it was on the plane for some reason, so maybe a cheaper way to watch Mr. Robot is to just fly places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes of it, and I thought it was pretty good. I am intrigued by it. I really like I like that the main character is just kind of this guy who is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fight the man. I'm gonna do, and then like when he's presented with actually doing that, he's like, whoa, wait, hang on, this is weird. And like you can never really tell what Christian Slater's up to, and
yeah, he's so awkwardly introverted that like there's that one clip. It's in like the first episode or maybe a second episode where his therapist asks him like, is there anything wrong or whatever? And he goes off on this whole tirade about, Steve Jobs this and, the economy and all this stuff and how we vote for this with at the polls, but with, our books and our consumerism and all that shit. Like, it's exactly that. Like, that's he does have this drive to stick it to the man, but you do not see it in his character. And that's, I think,
when, like, at the end of that scene, the therapist is like, "You're not saying anything. You're just sitting there." It's great.
Yeah, it is a really good show. It's nobody's spoiled anything for you, right?
Nope.
Oh, good.
Now they will.
Now they will, of course. Yeah, so don't read the comments. But it's a good show. Everybody I've recommended it to has enjoyed it, from like my stepdad to even my in-laws. Everybody seems to like it for some reason or another. Like, it just seems to be very mainstream, generally liked.
Nice.
So you should watch that. Watch that instead of Ninja Turtles. Okay.
Yeah. No worries there. Have you watched any Jessica Jones yet?
No. Oh man, that's right. I knew there was like another show on our list of like things to watch.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's kind of like Daredevil, but not quite so ridiculously over the top violent.
Okay.
And it has David Tennant in it, and even though David Tennant's a dick in this one, he's still David Tennant, so I'm completely fine with it. Like, there was someone posted something on like Facebook or something, and they were like, "This is what watching Jessica Jones is like with a David Tennant fan," and it's like this little comic strip where there's these two girls like watching TV, and in the first frame, like, one of them's like, "Oh, David Tennant, he's so dreamy. I can't wait to watch this." Or David Tennant, he's so cute. I can't wait to watch this. And then the second frame is just that person with like the ridiculously shocked and disgusted look on their face. And then the third frame is them back to being happy again. Like, "Oh, David Tennant is so cute when he's being a manipulative asshole." It's pretty great. I really like the show, and you should check it out.
Yeah, I think I will.
It's one of the
all of our shows are on winter break, so I'm totally down.
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with the like the way that they portray the characters in there, because like all of the main like super important characters, with the exception of David Tennant, are female. And they're obviously played by female actors, because otherwise it'd be weird.
What year is it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so it's refreshing in a way, because it's like, okay, so there's a couple of guys around, but they're either there just to be like there's this one character who's just like this perfect muscular like dude, and he just kind of shows up sometimes and is perfect and muscular and then leaves. And there's a couple of other characters that are dudes that are just generally inept. And it's kind of like, so this is actually kind of refreshing. Like, there's all these strong female characters, and they're not just taking their clothes off all the time. They're not just constantly going, "Oh, but what about this guy?" or anything. Like, that's actually just, it's almost like if you took every other series like this and just gender swapped every character, just to see what it's like, and it actually works pretty well.
It doesn't feel forced. Like,
it doesn't feel forced.
We're look at us. We're trying to, over the top make a statement.
Yeah.
Like, they're just doing it. It's natural. That's good.
Yeah. Like, it hadn't even occurred to me that, oh wait, yeah, all of the major characters are female in this, until someone pointed it out on. There was some tweet that was getting retweeted a bunch, where someone was like acting like they were outraged that all of the major characters were female, and that the dudes were only there to be eye candy or evil, and it was like, wait, what? It was pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty good.
Did you, just out of curiosity, you were out of town for Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Michigan.
Okay, so you
that was
didn't
that was when I watched Mr. Robot.
Oh, okay. So, were we at Michigan?
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sad, depressing,
Oh,
Midwestern.
oh wow. Oh, not because anything happened. Just the
No,
general,
no.
the
Yeah.
general mood when you.
Yeah. It was just
The theme of the zone is-
Midwest. Yeah. Yeah, like the town that I'm from is not doing well. Like it wasn't doing well financially, and then the economy collapsed. So it's
Jesus.
really not doing well financially.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of. It's kind of like, you know how Detroit has a whole bunch of like abandoned places and is generally like completely taking a shit and has for a long time.
Yeah.
Where I live is an hour west of Detroit. So, or where I'm
Oh.
from, I should say, is an hour west of Detroit. Hour and a half west of Detroit. So, we kind of feel the same sort of bleh over there.
Huh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Glad you had fun.
I mean, it was still a good time. It's just being around a whole bunch of like there's nothing really there.
Yeah.
It was mostly really just cool cuz like introducing Liv to my family and everything. So,
Yeah, I'm sure that was fun.
yeah. It was good.
Didn't mean to derail there. I was just kind of curious.
So, speaking of my terrible past,
Oh.
by which I mean speaking of the Star Wars prequels, there's a new Star Wars movie coming out.
There is.
Yes.
And it's the reason why we're not going to have a show next week.
Yeah.
Because I will be there, and so will you, right? It's next Thursday. I think it's like the 18th it comes up with it, but it's like the 17th that everybody. That's what the tickets are for, I think. Let me see.
I'm seeing it. I have to check my calendar real quick to see exactly when I'm seeing it.
I should
let's
probably pull up my tickets just to make sure I actually have them.
see. Yeah, that seems wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, are you going to try to make it out there and watch it?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go watch it. I'm seeing it on Friday, not on Thursday. But I'm seeing it at 10 a.m. because I'm seeing it with Blizzard.
Whoa.
Like, as part of my job for the day is
That's
go watch
great.
Star Wars.
Good.
And then I might take the rest of that day off and be like, I'm just gonna play video games and see if anybody looks at me funny about it.
Are you what are your expectations for it, just out of curiosity? I mean, I know that it's like, I know the mainstream expectation is like through the roof.
Yeah, my expectation for it. So, knowing how J.J. Abrams did with the Star Trek movies, I'm kind of expecting a similar sort of like it's not a reboot; it's just a continuation. So I'm not expecting him to go back and be like, and this is Luke Skywalker and Hannah Solo or anything like that.
Here's their background.
What?
Like, here's their background. Like, here's like to recap their stories or whatever.
Yeah, and they're slightly different for these reasons. But I am sort of I'm expecting diehard Star Wars fans to not like it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be different enough from Star Wars that someone who lives and breathes the original trilogy is going to go into it expecting Return of the Jedi Part 2 and be disappointed. I'm expecting it to be significantly better than 2.5 of the prequels. I
Right.
Sort of my target for it, where I'll be happy, is the second half of Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Because the second half of Revenge of the Sith wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't Return of the Jedi, but it also wasn't bad. So that's kind of my, if it's about like that, then I'll be okay with this. If it's a whole movie that's about like that, then I'll be okay with it. If it's anything like the previous 2.5 movies, or 2.5 prequels. Like, so the first half of Revenge of the Sith, and then Attack of the Stupid Star Wars name, and the Phantom plot. You get it because there wasn't really a plot to that movie.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Then if it's anything like any of those, then I will also be mad and disappointed. But I feel like J.J. Abrams and like that crew is capable of actually doing the series justice. So I'm hopeful, but I'm sure that what's going to happen is someone's going to say something about like Bantha Poodoo at some point, and some nerd somewhere will be like, that's the wrong context to use the phrase Bantha Poodoo in, and it doesn't actually mean the what has been used for this here.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I feel like they're really, really pushing the Half-Life 3 effect, where it's like, if they waited any longer, they should just forget about it. Just release maybe some more cartoons, right? more animated series, more other stuff, and then just stay away from it. Because I mean, Half-Life 3 is one of those things where it's like, when or if it ever comes out, it will not live up to hype. It will just not.
Yeah, like Half-Life 3 at this point, if Valve ever decides to actually release Half-Life 3, what they need to do is come out with a Half-Life mobile game, and like fucking a Half-Life novel series, and a Half-Life animated series, and do 40 other things with the franchise before they even announce Half-Life 3.
Yep.
So that way, people aren't like you have to get people's expectations down a bit first, and then come out with it.
Yeah.
Instead, like, because if they just came out and said, "Oh, Half-Life 3, it's gonna be great," people would be like, "Oh, yeah, it's gonna be awesome," and no matter what, like you say, it will not live up to that hype.
Yeah.
But if you've been kind of ignoring a Half-Life cartoon for the past 6 months, by the time the announcement happens, you'd be like, "Oh, cool, yeah, I kind of expected they'd do something like this." Like that's just marketing strategy. In order to make money off of your game, spend a bunch of money on 10 other things.
That's kind of what Star Wars is doing. Like, everywhere they have merch. Like, merch or some kind of licensing is fucking everywhere. More so than any other movie. Like, the joke that Mel Brooks made in Spaceballs, where he was yogurt merchandising, right? The whole merchandising thing. That's where the money's made. That's where the money's made. Like, that whole joke, which was, was true. But that applies, like, it makes me feel like, oh, they ran with it, and they're doing it because it is so over licensed. It's insane. It's everywhere.
I was in a fucking Macy's the other day, and I saw R2D2 luggage.
Oh God, I'm not surprised.
Like, it is kind of shaped like R2D2 and had like R2D2 on it, and it was just luggage. The weird one was that then there was a Darth Vader one, so it was a Darth Vader helmet, but just shaped like luggage, so it just didn't look right at all. It was not well executed, not nearly as well as the R2D2 luggage. I just thought I'd say R2D2 luggage. It seems like,
yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm in a very fortunate position, I think, where I haven't fully watched from end to end the 4, 5, and 6. So
the original trilogy?
Yeah.
Because that's weird.
It's super weird, right? It's just I was a Star Trek kid growing up, right? Like, because Star Trek was available on TV, and we just had like the basic TV shit, and so that's that was it. I
mean, movie theaters existed.
Well, yeah, we didn't have a lot of money. We weren't poor, but we like, the only time I ever went to the movie theaters was like my grandpa, and my grandpa wasn't going out of his way to go to the movie theater to see Star Wars, But by the time I was a teenager, obviously we're talking like 20 years after the movie.
Yeah.
So. Well, I've seen so many pieces of it because by the time I was in my teens and in my 20s, like, it was something that was kind of like just showing on TV occasionally. But I've never actually sat down and just watched it because I feel like I've seen so much of it. I always felt like, oh yeah, I've seen the movies. Yeah, I've seen the movies. And I thought that and then my wife was like talking about something that happened in some movie, and I was like, oh, I don't remember that. And like, I guess she'd asked me something about the movies, like, I don't even know how many times before, and she put it together that I haven't seen him. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I haven't seen him. So she has the VHS set from I think like the early or mid 80s. And she looked it up, and she said the only change between the theatrical version and the version that we have on cassette or on VHS is that they added A New Hope to episode 4, and they and a remastered audio track, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, basically they came out with this like remastered edition of it. It was like the first time that basically it was the first time somebody decided to resell something they'd already sold. Cough, cough, square. And that was really all they did was they added, instead of just having the first movie say Star Wars, they had it say Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, and the audio getting fixed up. Then they, like, in the 90s, they came up with like the Star Wars Enhanced Edition or something where they went in and they
added a bunch of shit.
They added a bunch of shit, yeah. And that was when they added in like this scene with Han like stepping on Jabba and doing like weird extra stuff. And then later on they came out with the Han shot first, or the Greedo shooting first version, and that was when people got really mad. That was
a really strange. See, that's the thing. I know all these things because I follow all this and I've seen clips and everything, and it's that I think was probably the most bizarre. I think everybody obviously thinks that.
That was when both like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg at around that time just went through this phase of, oh God, we made these movies and there was violence in them and we have to replace all of that somehow.
Yeah.
And it's not okay that Han is being portrayed as, he's got a heart of gold. He would never shoot first. The Han's not like that. And every Star Wars fan was like, no, he is. That's why we like him.
Exactly. So yeah, I have that VHS copy, which I'm thinking of hooking up, which is gonna look really weird on a big ass TV.
Yeah.
But there's also the despecialized version, which I think if anybody doesn't know about it, you could thank me later, because it is basically a copy of an HD copy that has been despecialized, where they've removed everything that was changed throughout the years. And it's actually all on YouTube. Tiale, you know who Tiale is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was talking about it. I guess they were just watching it this past weekend. And I guess it's all like on YouTube or something. I haven't found it. I haven't looked for it. But you could basically watch all 3 movies in glorious HD without all of the special effects and all of the crazy stuff and all the changes. And it's basically the original versions that have just been kind of cobbled together from other versions that have been laying around.
Yeah, I'm actually just looking it up. It's actually like facebook.com/despecialized appears to be where it exists. And there's like a link in there to a place that you can download it or something. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that actually sounds pretty awesome. I might have to look into that.
So I'll be tossing it up which ones to check out. I think the VHS probably would be cool, but man, like I kind of want to see all this stuff in like theater quality, you know?
Do you like have a working VCR still? Because I sure as hell don't.
I do.
All right.
I do only because I don't know how I got it, but I've kept it around because I use it for like effects and shit. Like I actually got an idea of. So anything you print to tape, like immediately gets like shitty filter put on it, right? Because it's tape.
Yeah.
Right. And then you stack on top of it tracking, you know. And so I got this idea that it'd be kind of cool to do a shoot, like a normal photo shoot, and then dump like the final products into, dump the final products into onto tape. And then fuck with the tracking and record it back in, and then expand that out. So you have like this legit analog old school filter on a photo that you obviously just recently took. I thought that'd be kind of neat. Like, as an example, like take a picture of like, so in take a picture of somebody who's topless, and like get the tracking so it fucking hits like right across the center, like it's censored, like right across the front side, and just hitting it perfectly. I think that would be like visually, I think that would be cool. In practice, it might not work out. Like I might do it. It's like, wow, this looks like complete shit because of VHS. But it might actually look cool with some interlacing and everything. You could blow it up, and it'll look kind of neat full screen. But anyways, that's why I have a VHS still, because I use it for like effects and stuff whenever I need it. It just sits in a pile of a bunch of other bullshit, basically.
Well, that's a cool story.
Yep.
Speaking of other cool stories, we should probably at least run through the video game awards and who was nominated as each of the things. Yeah.
That's a lot.
It can be real quick.
Okay.
So, the first one, as soon as I look at this list, I think maybe we should skip some of them.
Because the first one you're like, what is this?
Yeah, best performance, Viva Seifert. I don't even know what this is.
It's
that
a game.
Person?
It's actually a very interesting game.
Okay.
I haven't played it yet. I've seen clips, but it's very story driven. It's like a bunch of interrogations, interviews, and it's live action. But everybody's saying it's really fucking cool, and it's $5.99. I'm just gonna add it to my cart right now, so I don't forget to get it. Nice. But yeah, that's a game that it was different. It's something different for this year, for sure.
Well, there you go.
And then your favorite.
Yeah, best multiplayer, Splatoon. I'm gonna say best multiplayer. I'm a little bit iffy on calling it best multiplayer. It's definitely very good multiplayer, but I would expect that to at least have been a close choice, because there were a lot of really good multiplayer games that came out this year.
What would you put as the best?
I'm not sure. That's the thing. Like that's why I say I'm iffy on it. Not that I'm against it, just because I would have to sit and really think about that, and I don't want to sit and really think. About that.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Be like, okay, name the number one for the year.
Yeah,
a lot of people were talking about Halo should have been it, which I thought was really like Halo, like it's like, let's be real here. Halo is not changing the game, like they're not changing the way multiplayer work. It's good, but it's not new and different. And like when I see Splatoon gameplay, and from what I've heard from you, it's like
it's really fun.
Yeah, it's different, and it's giving us something different to do in multiplayer.
Yeah. Esports Game of the Year, CS:GO. I'm completely fine with that. Yeah, like CS:GO, of all of the esports that have really come up this year, and there's been a very significant rise in esports just across the board this year. Like even WoW now is suddenly actually a pretty legitimate esport once again.
There was definitely a lot more people watching this year at BlizzCon than there was last year.
Yeah, definitely. But CS:GO has just completely exploded. And it was already doing pretty well in 2014, but this year it just took off like crazy. So yeah, no complaints with CS:GO for Esports Game of the Year whatsoever. Valve has done very well. Best score / soundtrack. Maybe you can talk about this one a little bit. Metal Gear Solid.
It's good. It's definitely good. It's hard to really say it's like the best of the year. Like Fallout 4's, because in terms of games that they would actually consider, right? Fallout 4 was I thought was pretty really good. The best part about Metal Gear Solid's soundtrack is that it was very, very fitting of the game. Like a lot of the undertones and stuff like that they use really, really fit the mood. So yeah, it's definitely a good soundtrack. So it would be a toss up depending on who played what, if you played Fallout 4 and a little bit of Metal Gear Solid, then maybe you think Fallout 4. If you play a lot of Metal Gear Solid and a little bit of Fallout 4, then maybe you thought the opposite. So I'd say it's close.
Yeah. I would personally, I'd say this having not really played Metal Gear Solid, but I'm really pleased with the soundtrack in Fallout 4. So yeah, there's that. I also really liked the soundtrack in The Taken King, but I guess maybe Destiny: The Taken King doesn't really count as a new game for this year, so.
Oh, right? Huh. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't. And you're right, it is good. Even like right from the intro.
Yeah.
But they always kill it, man. Like their music, whenever you hear that music from what is the one where you get the sword and you have to go up and you beat the dude? It's like not King's Fall. It was the last one.
Oh, Dark Below.
Yeah.
Crota's End.
Like when you get the sword and the music changes to like this epic tone. Like when I was playing that fucking, oh my god, I can't. See, I just purge my brain of this stuff when I stop playing a game. That damn arena type thing where you spawn a boss or whatever, right? And it was Crota, and Crota spawns, and then the sword thing spawns, and then someone grabs a sword, and the music played. I was like, oh, I remember this. Oh god, it's so epic. Like they always kill it with their encounter music. It's always so good.
Like when we were like wiping over and over and over again on Oryx, like the music that plays when you just first start fighting Oryx, and then it starts to the bah, 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 and you're like, oh god, it's like the dun 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 going on. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's so good. Best mobile handheld game, Lara Croft Go. Not played it, but now I kind of want to. Sounds interesting. Best fighting game, Mortal Kombat X. I guess that as far as I'm aware, that's the only real fighting game that came out this year. Like Smash came out last year, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I didn't really follow the fighting scene. It's like a whole nother bubble for me.
Yeah. Developer of the Year seems like a weird category because, of course, the people that won Game of the Year are going to get Developer of. That just seems kind of obvious.
Yeah. How can you? Yeah.
So CD Projekt Red, because The Witcher 3 got Game of the Year, which I don't know. I've heard lots of people really, really like Witcher 3. I keep meaning to go back and play it some more, but I played it for like 3 hours and got bored.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've played Fallout 4 for like 35 hours now, and I've still thing? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is for me, but I feel like The Witcher 3 is a game that everybody really, really likes, and I don't know why. Because whenever I play it, I'm just like, this isn't interesting. That said, there was somebody I was talking to recently about it, and they were saying that you really kind of have to play it for like 10 hours before the story kicks in, and I have almost certainly not gotten to that point. Okay. So I keep meaning to go. Like I have it, I own it. I'll play it at some point. I keep meaning to go back and play it, and just I have Fallout, so I would rather play Fallout, which I know that I like. I heard a few people. I've heard of some rumblings that maybe Fallout 4 should have been there instead. With the amount of bugs that the game has, I'm not sure about that. And with the way that the interface is super janky sometimes.
Oh god, yeah, that's true. That's in terms of like a cohesive product, I would say probably Witcher 3. I would say probably any game that is not any game that's not like APB and Fallout 4. Yeah, or we say it's early APB.
That's what's so frustrating about Bethesda is they make these amazing games that are super immersive. The world is awesome. The characters are great. The gameplay itself is always really, really solid. And then you have these weird situations where, like, if you're playing Fallout 4 on PC, it's like, now you suddenly have to use your arrow keys for some fucking reason. Yeah. And nothing tells you that.
Tab escapes. No, escape escapes. No, what?
When you're in your Pip-Boy, Q is favorites. But when you're not, F is favorites.
It's...
And F in your Pip-Boy does nothing. So, like, why Q? Why is this? It's so weird.
Yep.
Best sports/racing game, Rocket League. I mean, if you're gonna make a category of sports/racing,
it was made for them.
You might as well pick the racing sports game.
It was almost like it was just made for them. And next year, we won't have it. It won't be there.
Yeah, next year there will be best sports game and best racing game.
I mean, so...
Or best extreme sports game, and they'll pick, like, I don't know, fucking Monster League or something.
I am surprised that FIFA is not up here. Because FIFA is a bigger game than anybody can possibly comprehend.
That's probably why they have the sports/racing game category, because they were like, we don't really want to put FIFA up there.
For the 16th year in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's true. But for racing game, I love Rocket League. I wouldn't count it at all a racing game. It has cars,
no,
but it's not a racing game.
Yeah, it's a sports/racing game.
Yeah, it's a sports game. If they had split that category, I would definitely say that Dirt Rally would be up there.
Interestingly, Rocket League also won worst sports/racing game. So.
Oh, I didn't see. Wait, what?
No, I'm making that up because it's literally it's the only sports/racing game.
Yeah,
it came in 1 out of 1.
Grats.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you were talking about Dirt. I watched you do like a not quite a BFF report on that, and that game seemed really good.
It is really good. It's really, and I make it very clear in the BFF report, like it is not for everyone because it is not an easy game to play. The physics on that game is like are completely unforgiving. If you go off the road a little bit, you fucking lost it. Like you're gonna wreck, and that's pretty much it. It is a super fun game. They've added tons of content. I think the only reason why there wouldn't even be in consideration is because they didn't release until like yesterday or day before or something. Like they just recently released, I think after the awards. So I don't know how they do the cutoff for that stuff, but I think that maybe this will put them in contention for next year. But it is a really, really solid racing game. Even if you don't like rally, they have rally cross and all this other stuff, and it's pretty good.
Best art direction, Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm not really surprised. The game is absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
The only other games I can think of that I would compare to that didn't come out in 2015. So there you go. Games for Impact, which is a weird category.
I think this is like exactly what it says. Like game that came out and
like the game that they picked for it is Life is Strange, which suddenly makes the category make sense.
Yep.
Best narrative apparently is a category, and Her Story apparently is a game. I did not know this.
That's the best performance as well.
Oh, is that the?
Yep.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I will have to give that a try at some point. Yeah, it's the Viva Seifert in the like they put the name of the person first instead of the name of the game, so that's why I'm all mixed up on that one. Industry Icon is just a weird. Like, how do you win Industry Icon? It's not like it's best Industry Icon.
Contest.
Yeah, exactly. And they picked people from the Command and Conquer series, which, okay, I loved Command and Conquer. I loved Command and Conquer Red Alert. I have not liked a single one of those series that's came out after that. Like the original, the first Command and Conquer and the first Red Alert were really, really solid and good.
Yep.
The ones that came out since then, I have not. They're just always so janky and imbalanced and weird. Best independent game, Rocket League. All right, makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're gonna give it best sports and racing game. Game of the Year, Witcher Wild Hunt. We already talked about that. Best action adventure game, Metal Gear Solid.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Like it is the best sandbox open world game I've played like in a long time. You could just do anything. Choose your own adventure.
Best role playing game, The Witcher Wild. Wow, who saw that coming? I appreciate that they even then like for this is so weird. So they have CD Projekt Red as developer of the year, and it just says CD Projekt Red. They have game of the year, The Witcher Wild Hunt. Doesn't even say The Witcher 3, just The Witcher Wild Hunt. This may also just be this site that I'm looking at this on. And then for best role-playing game, it says The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and then parentheses, CD Projekt Red / Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Why have they not named a developer or publisher of any of these other games up until best role-playing game? Like, if it was game of the year, I could kind of say, oh, yeah, sure, let's call extra attention to who did the game of the year. But it's just best role-playing game. They're like, oh, shit, well, we haven't been doing this on any of them, so let's just go ahead and throw it in here for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Best family game, Super Mario Maker. Now, I've seen people streaming Super Mario Maker. I don't know that I'd call it a family game. Maybe if you hate your family.
It's that, you know what, that is a very good point. Like, it is not, I guess, God, you know, it's a game that scales like really, really, really well. It's like Trials, actually. My kid started playing, not Trials is another game that's like Trials on mobile. He started playing that, and he was playing all the easy courses. And he's 3. Like, he doesn't even know how to lean or anything. He's just kind of driving and, you know, having a blast doing that. But then I could pick it up and play the expert courses on the same game, you know? And we're playing the same game. We're a family. We both enjoy the game. I think that's kind of what it means. A game that scales well from the absolute shittiest player in the family, which is like your 3-year-old, and then all the way up to, you know, your seasoned veteran, which is me, clearly.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of see that. But yeah, I think it just says Mario,
yeah.
So they were like, yeah, it's family.
It's yeah. I can't think of anything else that would be more family oriented. Everything is so contrasted into their whatever their specific genre is. So it's like it's either gory or it's too cartoony or whatever. But Mario just scales. Everybody loves Mario. You're right. Mario's in the title. Give it to it. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the only other one I would make a case for, I guess, they're one best multiplayer. So I would say Splatoon is I would put Splatoon as best family game personally. Okay. But meh. I guess the other thing is that Splatoon, I don't think you can do split screen multiplayer, which kind of precludes the family style gameplay.
Well, there you go.
And there's a bunch of fans' choices. Most anticipated game, Uncharted 4. I'm definitely excited for Uncharted 4. Esports Team of the Year, Optic Gaming. Kind of surprised by that.
I was surprised at the category.
Yeah, the category is weird.
Like, I mean, not surprised that, you know, it's like, oh yeah, it needs to be recognized, but just the fact that it was recognized as a category.
Yeah, Optic Gaming. I mean, I guess if we're going to call CSGO the esport game of the year, then Optic Gaming makes sense as the esports team of the year. Trending gamer is just a fucking weird category. Like, this is a gamer that's kind of becoming popular.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Greg Miller, Game Over Greggy, like, I think he's worked for, I think it was IGN or something, and he split off from the podcast and for Kind of Funny Games. I was actually looking, I think they're here in the city, because I was looking at them when I left Zam. I was like, oh, maybe I go and see if, you know, if they have any positions or if they're looking for anybody else or whatever.
The city.
The city, yeah. The city. There's a fucking song about it, all right? It's the city.
The city. You've seen the Eddie Izzard sketch about that, right?
No.
He did a stand-up routine in San Francisco, and he did a whole bunch of making fun of people calling it the city. Anyway.
So I mean, everyone here calls it the city, and for the longest time, I had an issue with not calling the states the mainland, right? Because that's what in Hawaii, that's what everybody called it, and so it kind of just grew on you. It's like, oh yeah, the mainland.
Oh, okay.
The mainland.
See,
the mainland.
I thought so. If you're talking about from Hawaii, that makes sense.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about like being a resident of San Francisco and calling the rest of the United States the mainland.
I'm stuck here on this hipster island. No, it's just like it's just funny. It's just one of those things that, you know, we call it the Bay Area, and I recognize there's like another Bay Area in like around the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. I think, I don't know.
There's lots of bays in the world.
No. But it's not the Bay Area. The.
All right.
There's a capital T there. All right.
Oh, okay.
This is the stuff that they embed into your brain. Yeah, when you get here, and that's what I was saying. The example with like the mainland, it's like that's the stuff that they, you don't say, oh yeah, I'm from Nevada, or I'm from, California, or I'm from whatever. You say, yeah, I'm from the mainland, and that's it. So here it's
then
like,
they immediately hate you.
You're going to the city, or you're going to whatever.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
What was the other thing? There was whatever.
Oh, the other thing on the list was best fan creation, which is something called Portal Stories Mel.
Which is a mod, I believe. I thought I saw it on the store. I ignored it, but now that I see that I won an award, I guess I got to go back. Here it is right here. It's free. Portal Stories Mel is a community-made free modification to Portal 2 based on the Portal universe. It tells the story of Mel, who meets a new personality core and faces an undiscovered threat in the Aperture facility. So basically, it's just more Portal.
I mean,
Who's
I'm
gonna be
always
mad
down
about
with
that?
more Portal. Yeah.
Exactly.
Except for that time that they charged us $60 for a little bit more Portal. I was pretty salty about Portal 2 when it came out.
Really? You didn't like it?
No, I liked it. I just didn't think it was worth I didn't think it was complete. I didn't think it was like I felt like they went and said, "Hey, Portal was really successful. Let's slap something together and call it Portal 2 and make a bunch of money off of it." Because when Portal 2 released, like there weren't people hadn't really been making a bunch of like there were no mods for it or no add-ons for it yet. And there was like a 10-hour tops single player campaign.
So but there was also the 2-player campaign, the co-op.
There was also
campaign.
the 2-player campaign, yeah, which if you had someone to play it with was cool. I didn't like playing it with random people.
Oh God. Oh, Jesus. I couldn't think of a worse kind of torture.
Yeah. Yeah. And it didn't help that this was immediately off of Left 4 Dead 2, which launched like 9 months after the original Left 4 Dead or something. Mm-hmm. So I was already kind of salty at Valve for coming out with sequels that were not really sequels.
I played through the co-op. I don't think I completed the single player yet. But I played the co-op and it didn't take long. I mean, it's like 3.5 hours, 4 hours for the co-op.
Yeah, it's not long at all.
It was fucking fun. And I played it with Brian of all people. And
he would just troll you the entire time. He was have added 3 hours to the playtime.
No. He was good, but he is so unfiltered that. Every time I did anything wrong, I was the shittiest person in the world. I was terrible at everything. I deserved the low self-esteem badge, I was I mean, he didn't demean you, but he definitely made you feel like, you know what, you could have definitely done that better. It's like, fuck, man. But nice. It was I like the co-op. The single player was also fun, the narrative and everything that you got. But I'm at the potato part. I think that's actually where I left off. I'm at the potato part.
Jesus Christ, dude. You've got 20 minutes of that game left. You should finish it.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Fuck,
well,
all right.
maybe an hour.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
That was the issue that I had with it is I was super excited for Portal 2. And I got it the day it came out, and I was like, "Yeah, more Portal." And then I finished it 8 hours later, and I was sad. It wasn't even a full day of streaming for me to finish it. Mm-hmm. And when you get a brand new video game, you kind of want it to last more than the remainder of the afternoon.
That's true. Hey, we're gonna play this new game. Okay, now we have to find something else.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right.
Well,
my throat is committing suicide at the moment.
Why?
Because I still have this cough. I'm just going to have a cough for the next year.
Okay.
It's just kind of what I do. It's just hang on to coughs for entirely too long.
Hang on. I know the feeling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll let you go and uncough. So next week, probably not because of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Unless it's so horrifying. Here's what I'm looking forward to with the Star Wars release. I'm curious who's going to be the first person to get a trending article about how bad it is, because you know it's going to be a race. The hype is so loud, like it's everywhere. That writing an article that says, "Hey, it's amazing," you're not going to get any clicks. Writing an article that says, yeah, it was pretty bad." Like that's the only way you're gonna get traffic after at the end of next week.
You want to know how to get the absolute most traffic? Okay, here's what you do. Listen up, Gary Gannon. Here's what you do. You release an article about how the movie is terrible and does not live up to the hype 4 hours before it premieres, having not actually watched it.
That's good.
Yeah. You will get so much traffic. Top of r/gaming, excuse me, immediately. Doesn't even matter that it's not a video game. You will be on every single Reddit, everywhere.
Every Reddit.
Every single one. You'll be on fucking...
And the beauty of that is that you wouldn't have been breaking any NDAs because you didn't actually see it.
Yeah.
That is actually a pretty brilliant idea.
Yeah. That's I feel like I know just the site for such a strategy.
That's pretty funny. Wow. Well then, yeah. Okay, yeah. Cool. Star Wars lightsabers. Right. Pew pew.
Yeah, Star Wars. Man, that movie was shitty when I saw it.
What movie?
Star Wars.
Oh yeah. It was bad. It was terrible.
Yeah, so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that they brought in the Jar Jar Binks character again.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty shitty. They went the whole killing off the black guy early trope. It wasn't even like a scary movie. I can't believe they did that. It's fucked up.
Yeah. It was so racist of them too.
It was almost like the entire all the trailers was like all of his scenes.
Well, that's the problem though, is all of the trailers was just the entire movie. When we went and watched it, they just stitched all the trailers together and that was it. It was the whole movie.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate.
God, that movie's terrible, and I rate it 1 out of 20.
Whoa! We don't get number ratings on the show.
Wait. Well, okay. Then I rate it gamer girls wearing horse masks.